Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. Once again, we are back here at the Emoji Co-working Space for another edition of 1 Million Cups. If this is your first time joining us, we come here every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., share some coffee together, share stories. An entrepreneur will get up and present on their business for a few minutes and we'll take some questions and answer community. And we always finish the presentation with the question, what can we, the entrepreneurial community, do to support you as an entrepreneur? I encourage you at this time to reach into your pockets, pull out your phone, pull out your media devices, check in on Facebook, facebook.com/1MillionCupsANC. Follow us on Twitter, check in on all of your social medias, and bring your questions, participate, invite your friends. That's how we can grow this community and be a better support to you. Today, we've got a very great presentation. I can't wait to hear this one. We have Jasmine Smith joining us to share about their business and their adventures. A multi-time entrepreneur, Jasmine Smith.
Oh gosh, no pressure. Am I good to go on camera? Okay, good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, per usual, thank y'all for coming to our space and sharing the space with us for 1 Million Cups. I'm super excited about the future, what it holds, what we can do and accomplish. And I believe these times are very valuable. So I'm excited to talk for a few minutes about I guess it's a tech company, BabyVend. And then from there, just a little bit about my expanded idea on how to take that tech company to a bigger level to support and collaborate with other ecosystems in our state who support tech businesses and entrepreneurship. So for those who don't know, my company is BabyVend LLC. So if you're at the airport, the museum, Fifth Avenue Mall, and many other places, and you see the vending machines that have the baby supplies in it, that is my company. We specialize in products for families ages 5 and younger, breastfeeding mothers, and the adults that are traveling with any minor children. So we do that through machines of various sizes, and we do that through supply kits. So we're currently in 15 states and we have machines in 2 countries. So from that country or that business, I learned everything about the vending industry from scratch. When I started that company, I had never touched a vending machine aside from swiping it and getting some products out of the machine. So I quickly learned in my garage how to set up vending machines, the inner workings of building vending machines and kiosks. I learned about coding. I learned about inventory. I learned about packaging, sourcing, sales, and everything in between while my twins were sleeping at night because I was a single parent. So from there, I realized how big the vending industry is nationally. And I realized how big the idea of self-service kiosks are, and then packaging and supply and product support is big nationally. And I realized we have some small pockets in Alaska and some good organizations that are talking about the need for manufacturing and talking about the need for like prototype development and tech and manufacturing, but we have a huge opportunity. So my dream has always been, how can I take my tech company, which is BabyVend, and that idea of vending machines and kiosks that have things that we need, and take that to a bigger idea and bring some of that manufacturing to Alaska. So I learned quickly that although it is expensive to do business in general, a lot of our time and our income was spent bringing things to Alaska to get it ready, to send it back out of Alaska. And I realized a big part of our industry gets a lot of things from like China and Taiwan. And when you look at the actual math on how much we're spending for like shipping, packaging, et cetera, we actually do have some good viable options and solutions that we could do things domestically. And so I know that in our business, we're always told it's expensive to do business in Alaska, but I realized quickly it doesn't have to be, right? With some good innovation and some good ideas, I really believe that there are good ideas to help other tech businesses like mine who are literally across the industry gamut. When we say our business does it all, we literally work with the manufacturer in Denver to help put the machines together. Then they have to do the coding and actually program the machines. Then we actually learned how to wrap the machines. We learned how to customize the machines to make the products fit. And then we learned how to find custom packaging for our products. And then we learned how to get it distributed and delivered. And then we learned how to find the locations and work with those locations to do the sales for placement. So I feel like not just BabyVend in our company, but there are other companies that are similar who have the same needs and challenges as us and opportunities. And I think if we collaborate somehow on a bigger scale in the sourcing and trying to find out how we can do more things in Alaska, I think it could save us money and a lot of big headaches versus the out to end game that a lot of us play. So my goal and my trajectory with the next life of BabyVend is, of course, expanding, but trying to expand in a way that supports other vending companies. So since our company operates and we sell machines, we're always trying to figure out how can we support people with buying their machines at an affordable price? How can we support people with sourcing the products to go on the machine? Because we have that barrier as well. We also support people with understanding how can you make multiple streams of income on your vending machine. So on our vending machines, you don't just make money by selling products that vend through the machine. They also have TV screens on them. And we've been putting a lot of focus on advertising on our vending machines and teaching our customers you can make money that way. And then we've also been working hard and exploring having people buy some of their supplies through us and our wholesale partner for a markup. So that way it's not just we make income off of selling a machine, but then the income can continue because there are customers who buy their products from us. We help people find ads on their machines and kind of learn the system to take some of that income as well, on top of people calling and sometimes saying, I need you to train me on a different vending concept, or I have a location and I need help bringing in people, and your machine and machines like it are, cost effective because they can kind of employ people, but it's a little bit more affordable to get placed. So we went from the idea of just being a vending machine operator and just kind of having machines placed and servicing those to being a full service vending machine supplier and distributor. So the last thing I'll say is in our journey and our work that made me excited is in September, we received a top 40 under 40 in the nation for vending in our business and our concepts. So that was a great industry nomination and award that we received. So I really want to figure out how can I take that excitement for new mechanics and vending and machinery and somehow allow us on a bigger scale to source and create and build some of that stuff here. So we don't have to source it outside to bring it back, to source it back outside again. And we can do some things on the home front. That's my pitch. Thank you. Lots of questions. Are there any questions for me? Is that how I say it? Yeah. Or clarifications?
Well, I guess, just to kick it off, because I'm curious, how are you doing at this point in terms of finding new locations for vending machines, and kind of how does all that process work? I remember you were doing this vending university kind of thing as a way to do outreach. How's that working out? How are you,
I will be the first to say locations are the easiest part for us. For me, as I've learned with our team and people who reach out and they say they want a machine, it's more so determining, is it a good location? We get a lot of malls who call, sometimes museums and zoos. And the hard part is they're salespeople, so they don't really care if we do good or bad, right? They just want to get us in their mall. So old Jasmine, who Kai knows, when I first got started was Wild Wild West. Like, let's just do it. Let's just go for everything and do good or not and just be everywhere. But then new strategic Jasmine is like, wait, what is the traffic in your location? Where are you in the building? How strong is our cellular service on the machine going to be so I don't have tech issues? What's your rent? Like, what kind of natural disasters do you have? We had a machine that was in Fort Myer and it just got pulverized in the hurricane. It was on the beach. Can't get that bad boy back. So we get a lot of offers for locations for our machines. And we have a lot of owners who say, I want a machine, but I have learned there's a science in who's the right customer fit and who's the right location fit. So we don't have an open market system anymore. We first have locations reach out to us, or we strategically say, I want to be with them. And then as owners come in, we only really accept where we need. So we don't have folks just like excited with nowhere to go. Yes.
Do you like to co-locate your machines with other machines such as those grab the toy machines or something like that? Is there a, or next to a Coca-Cola machine or something like that?
Yeah, so in most locations, they have like set aside vending areas. So we tend to get put by like soda machines. I will say for this industry right now, we get put by eyelash machines and wig machines a lot. So we have a lot of those kind of clients who we help with them because that's a big field. But yeah, so a lot of times in locations, especially airports and stuff, we get put by a lot of other vending machines. And I forgot to mention, I haven't told anybody, so I'll tell you guys first. Thanks to one of our other cool Alaska startups giving, I think it was Grant for Innovations, they gave us a really good reference to Pittsburgh Airport. They have the special grant thing happening with tech in Pennsylvania. And so basically in exchange for us having like no rent to low cost rent, they're gonna basically pay for us to have an app part of our vending machine now. So that way, like on some vending machines, you can pre-order and get the inventory before you get there. So the parent doesn't have to guess. So they said, if you come and we can partner with the state of Pennsylvania, we'll make that happen next year. So that's the kind of like other fun, innovating things that people don't realize you can do with machines and kind of really expand it out. I mean, aside from BabyVend, we've helped other Alaska brands too. We work with a lot with the lady out of Valdez on her Alaska made machine. We've been working with a guy named Andre on his Alaska machine that sells traditional village food. And then so not just BabyVend, but it's like if we can find a way to expand and make that a bigger concept and help. We've helped some NBA players in Maryland. We helped with a rapper get machines for his mom. So it's turned into not just BabyVend vending, but like vending, consulting and manufacturing and logistical assistance, which we charge for. Other questions? Yes.
Hey, Jasmine, this is Brian from the folks that are online. I am curious, I really appreciate your perspective on having diversified revenue streams so that you can keep revenue coming in.
Yes.
I'm curious, which revenue stream do you like the most and it makes you the most money? Which one is the biggest pain in the butt?
My favorite questions.
Yeah.
So honestly, my favorite revenue stream is the ad sales. Now that we kind of cracked the code a little bit on that, we went with Eddie P at Ohana Media and KFAC to kind of help with advertising and kind of figuring it out. So for me, that's my favorite because it's the easiest. It's like there's a system, it's laid out. We get to reach other entrepreneurs. It's kind of honestly easy money because we don't make the ad. We just tell them we need an ad ready commercial that's 10 seconds or 15 seconds long. We've learned on our machines how to upload some of them remotely. There's a feature for that, and we found it. So that's my favorite. My least favorite that we have gotten out of was at first we would be more intensive and help the owners find their location. That did not work. That failed miserably just because as our numbers increase, we just don't have time to be talking that much back and forth with people and getting their, calls at night, being worried and wondering. And so it felt like being a case manager. So we got rid of that. And we basically told them, we do not help you find a location, but we do have a drive of resources that have templates, how-to guides, sales PowerPoints, and the things that you need for you to find a location. Unless it's like a high money earner, or I think it could have like a bigger presence nationwide, I'll step in and kind of help. But we're pretty big these days on telling them we give you the tools for you to find your own location. And we recommend that you have already made an ask before you come to us to save yourself tears in 2 to 3 months when you pay us and you don't have a location. Yeah, that's my least favorite part.
Is that location finding part of the vending university or?
Yeah. So honestly, we did we do pretty good community wise. We have a really big support in a lot of the BIPOC business world. That's where all of our main press came from initially. It was Black Enterprise and Black News and a lot of those outlets. And then we did that, we did a YouTube video with like Peter Santabello about Mountain View and stuff. And then that just led to an ungodly amount of leads, like 200-300 leads a day. And then, you know, we got a viral post on a mommy blog. So I found that like, it's a lot of leads, but not everybody who reaches out is either ready for a BabyVend machine. Some of them are getting started and some of them have their own machine. So for me, the Vend University was a option for those who like were kind of ready, but not quite, so they could pay and take themselves self-paced that way versus kind of eating up all of our time with like the questions like, what about this? What about that? So we just say it's all over here. And then you go through this. And if you're still good, come on. If you feel informed enough that you want to already come on and you signed the paperwork, we can fast track you. So it kind of helped us with like expectations and load because it was too many leads. Yeah.
What does the profit margin look like for like first few years getting started? Like how much work can people expect to put in?
Yeah, so I tell people honestly, so you see a lot of times those vending videos where they're like holding a big stack of money, like it's just so easy. Everyone's just doing it. I'm like, that's true maybe if you're selling some sodas or something, but I'm always pretty honest in our open houses, in our paperwork. And I tell owners it takes about 6-7 months to start seeing a return on investment. A vending machine is no different than any other company. You have to work it. Like I've had some owners who put a machine in a location like, oh, no one's buying. I'm like, they don't know you're there. Like, so you still have to like tell people. So when I did the math based off them buying their machine, if they paid in full versus financed, if they followed our system that we got from a couple of owners who were really helpful, they started seeing a return on investment in about 6 months. And that was contingent on them actually like following our steps. Like we told you to advertise your location. We told you to reach out to these ad people. We told you to, you know, keep your machine full. But the biggest barrier that I see initially for most folks is the tech piece of it, which is why I'm really big on how can we bring more of that to Alaska. So currently people mess up the most, just tech, like the machine's broken, like the door wasn't closed all the way. It won't vend, you didn't push the tray back all the way, right? Like just small security things. But I have found that like in the vending world, there isn't like a certified vending kiosk program, and they always need work and they're always broken. And so I was talking with like some of the folks at UAA and the union, like what a cool thing to be done or a cool program even Alaska could have, because a vending machine is like 3 or 4 trades in one. It's carpentry, it's electrician, it's HVAC, and it's coding on top of, you know, sales and the other secondary piece. But right now, most folks in vending just kind of learn on the fly. And somehow we've come from like, I didn't know what I was doing either. So now they're like, oh, Jasmine, her company is an expert somehow. So our biggest thing that we notice people is the tech piece of it is the hardest part for the first few months. Like you have this big machine and it's intimidating. So until they kind of start getting comfortable, they think everything is broke at the beginning. Yes.
Jasmine, you know, as I've kind of watched this, I'm fascinated with the idea of are vending machines kind of an old style way of selling stuff that just kind of sits off in the corner, you got to go to look for it down the hallway by bathrooms? Or are we seeing a revolution in sales automation technology? And is this thing going to change the way products are sold and inventory for sale? And I think there's something really important about our opportunity in Alaska where we got a few number of people.
Yes.
And we really need to figure out how to do more with that. And I think Alaska has a role in being a leader globally in automation.
Totally.
Distributed
Yes.
systems. And I'm just wondering, what do you think about where you're going? Is BabyVend and our vending machines just kind of an interesting little niche play?
Yeah.
Or do you see this as a bigger picture of the role of machine automation in our society down the road? Where do you want to go with that?
Yeah.
Go there and let's go together.
So, I mean, I'm really honest, like, and it took me some time to get here on my vision. I have come to realize that a lot of people love BabyVend, but I have realized behind the scenes, it's a jump off point for something bigger and more crucial that I'm realizing is missing. Like Like even in Alaska, we only really have like 3 big vending companies like that, right? So the vending world is fastly growing in countries like, Japan and Korea. They have like vending machine malls and all kinds of stuff. And they've somehow cracked this science of having vending machines and kiosk and automation coexist with the regular workforce and finding alternative jobs. So there's not this perception anymore of like a vending machine will make you lose something. Somehow it complements. I just feel like my newer, bigger calling is BabyVend is a brand, topic, kids and family that allows conversations to happen. And it is pretty good in some locations, but I think it's bigger than that. Like from a vending company, they said is the second hardest kind of company to start, second to a restaurant, because of all the pieces. Like you're building a machine, you're getting the machine together, you're selling the machine, you're developing the products, you got to package the products, you got to teach the customer, then you got to put it in its location, deliver it to its location, teach the people at its location, and then you have to sell it at its location. So I really think Alaska has the opportunity to be something bigger and more of a key player in this tech and machinery world. Like I know we have like some of the co-working spots, I know we have MEP and stuff, but I just really feel like we always are told like it's too expensive or too hard to do business in Alaska. And I'm just trying to tell people like, no, it's really not. I've seen worse. Like I can literally put one of my skinny vending machines on an Alaska Air cargo plane from here to Seattle for like $600 laying on its back and get it there overnight there versus me driving it through Canada for 2 to 3 weeks for maybe 1,000 or 2,000. So I think if people are willing to have the conversation, it's somehow doable. Like even like boxes, like it sounds so small, like in our vending world, we spend 60% of our time looking for boxes, which a lot of like packaged businesses do. We don't have a box building company in Alaska that just builds boxes. I mean, we have to source it out of state, bring it back, put it together to send it back out. So it's just so much that could be done in that space of like a bigger picture. I really feel like if Alaska can jump on it now, the vending and kiosk and automated world is huge and it's growing quickly, but there isn't really a leader. There's not really like a go-to place or a state that says like, I'll become the Silicon Valley of vending and automation and kiosks. They don't have that. And I think that's something that we really could get on. And I think that's something that I would love to see BabyVend, I guess, / We Can Vend It, because I had to like separate the two. We had so much non-BabyVend requests. I think that could be a huge, huge, huge thing up here. Other questions?
Easy question for you. Since we're getting into December now, how do you expect the university's football team to finish?
Oh man, I hope we come out swinging. We had a pre Thanksgiving huddle because Christmas season in our world is just madness. So like everybody's scrambling to just be ready for the holiday season. So hopefully we'll come out winning. We in the last 3 weeks we got our first machine in Michigan, and that guy is a powerhouse. I have to give Eric a shout out. And then we got our first machine in New Jersey, but that New Jersey's asked for a lot of machines. And we keep getting requests in like Albuquerque, in Wisconsin, in another place in New Jersey and Iowa. So it's just like, making sure those places are going to be a good fit and those people are going to be successful. But I will say right now, 98% of the people who have purchased machines from us are up and running in the location. And we only have like 1 or 2 people who are like waiting to get into like a Detroit airport or something like that, like those kind of things. But most people are up and running, and now it's just keeping the momentum going as they, get out of the startup phase and helping them start making some sales. Yes.
Now that you have pretty much established in the United States, what does it look for you globally?
Yeah, so our first machine is actually going to Edmonton in Canada. So that's something we've been working on. And then we get a lot of machine requests in New Zealand. And then we were working with the guy in Australia on some machines. And then we have a nonprofit partner in Rwanda that wants to partner, but their machine isn't like all baby supplies. They have a big shortage for children's shoes. So the cool thing is, since our machines are cashless, we did that on purpose. We didn't have to get into like currency. We are able to convert our credit card processor to accommodate the cards of other countries. And they have like a currency converter. So if another country says like, I want to do, our money, we prefer to be cashless and just swipe it based off whatever is the most popular method where they are. But we do have that capability. So I've definitely been looking at that. I just wanted to make sure the US was under control before I like went all over the world. And I'm like, I can't help you if your machine breaks down. So I really need to make sure you're a viable, person, and they have to buy more than one machine just because for all that work and exporting and stuff, one machine wouldn't really make much of a difference, do the trick for us.
So Jasmine, online, I just want to share some comments so they don't get lost and you don't get them. From Becky, you've got a wow, so impressive, Jasmine. And from Candy, you've got Jasmine as my business hero.
Oh.
And from Becky again, founder state of mind. It's somehow doable. Kind of positive we can do this thing.
Yeah, I think it is. It's,
So, I'm just curious, how are you doing it? I mean, you are doing BabyVend, you're doing Emoja.
Yeah.
You're trying to solve the municipalities, business.
Oh, gosh.
Issues at this point. You're a leader in the local community council. As a business founder, how are you juggling all of this?
Yeah,
Focus
yeah, I mean, there's definitely some weeks where I'm like, ooh, I'm tired, right? Yes, and I have my twins and they're at the best age.
Right.
But yeah, they whine so much. Anyways, yeah, so I just kind of tell people like, for right now, I'm having fun and it doesn't feel like work really. But I also have the issue with like, if I feel like something has to get done, I'm just gonna do it and then pray somebody wants to do it with me or they step in. But I can say, BabyVend has got to the point where we are finally getting a full-time COO. And so I'm excited. I made it very firm. I'm stepping back. I've worked butt off these last few months to make sure we have clear processes, good positions. We have a whole online automated Kajabi system now where like you buy your machine, click here, do the intro, click here, learn this, click here, make your payment. So I'm in the process of, I'm still going to definitely be, involved with BabyVend, but I don't have to do it every day. So we're in the process of kind of onboarding that person who will be that new Jasmine. I can kind of fall back to my part-time goals. So that'll allow me to do more things. So like for me, I've always understood in an economic community sense, like for companies, especially BIPOC businesses, to be able to have BabyVends in these firms, my goal was never to just have BabyVend be successful and just be rich and just go have an island, but I really wanted to be able to invest some of that money back in the spaces like Emoja and community projects. So for me, BabyVend and those startups is like the moneymaker and a legacy builder to help drive what my real passion is this. So if I can get a COO who can do all the fun stuff over there, and I can just help them as needed and be over in Emoja and like helping my community and having fun, that's kind of how I measure success. And I can handle that and hanging out with my kids. So we're gearing up for our 3-week Christmas tradition vacation where we don't know where we're going to go. We just fly somewhere and get in our van and kind of figure it out on the way. So I'm excited. Yeah.
There's a question online here saying, what are the highest traffic areas you get with machines?
Yeah.
Parks,
Let me think.
malls, airports.
Yeah.
Which locations?
So seasonal traffic wise, of course, the airport locations. But those have highs and lows. Like the airport locations follow family travel in the school year pretty much, like Christmas and spring break and summertime. But I can say like year round, oddly, we have a couple of very large malls that just do good like all year. Like one of the malls in Arizona, I think it's weather based. Like Arizona does really good all year round. Florida, minus hurricanes, their locations do pretty good all year round. They have a couple big malls. I mean, income wise, airports tend to make the most seasonally, but there's just so much steps and extra things to make the money happen that the profitability is okay. But some of these really big complexes and like malls that have like the indoor movies and the Legolands and all those places, I have found that those actually do pretty good. And they tend to have the cheapest rent and they're easier to manage because they're not 24/7. So you kind of have some structure of like work-life balance. So right now, those are definitely doing the best. And I will say they call us the most. Like they're like, hey, I have 20 malls over here. Can you pick one? Do you want all of them? Or so it's a lot of huge malls.
Hey, Jasmine, I am
Thank
guess
you.
my question to you would be, did you have a business background prior to your vision, or where did you?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been kind of entrepreneurish. You know, anybody who knows me knows like I've been doing business since I was little, like babysitting and things like that. Now, I will say I'm a licensed business consultant, so I'm normally the one helping other people start and run their companies. So I have a previous experience, yes, with running businesses. However, I will be honest, I never ran a vending company, and it is beyond anything I could have ever imagined it would be. So I mean, we started in like 2016. The traction really started coming in 19. So I tell people like sometimes in business, you have to practice patience. It took us like 2.5 years just for me to feel comfortable touching the machine. My kids touched the machine before I did. They were putting like Chuck E. Cheese tokens in there and vending stuff. So I had no vending experience. I had always had service-based businesses. This is the first time I've done like a product-based business. And I can say I have hats off to people who do this all the time, because that's a lot of like just cost of goods sold and doing that before you even hit the floor. So I learned as I went, and it has been an amazing up and down journey. Yes, Brian.
So, I mean, you just said 2016, and I kind of thought that BabyVend was like this overnight success because I hadn't heard about it.
No.
Maybe, you know, a couple of years ago when I saw one of the vending machines at the Anchorage airport.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, like, did you get started in 2016? Like, have you had kind of like milestones or
Yes.
like, pivots along the way?
So
Like, what's that journey
2016, I'll talk about faith for a minute. If you ever Google me, I did an article back in 2016 or 17 with me at the airport saying I have a vending machine. The thing that I laugh about that article is how I love Anchorage and how they believed in me. I didn't have a machine yet, didn't have a logo. I had nothing. I had a piece of paper I showed the girl in the interview. I'm like, I'm going to do this. She was like, okay. So for them to interview me about this brand new awesome vending concept, I didn't even have the machine yet. I'm like, oh, that's some faith, because like I was a piece of paper that if you saw the first design of BabyVend, it was awful. I was not cute. So yeah, so 16 is where the idea came, but I didn't have any money. So I had to get a third job and first save to buy a machine to practice with. And I just happened to find this pregnant lady on Craigslist who just happened to have a machine for sale. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I knew I wasn't going to rush because I didn't know what I was doing. So I told myself 2016 is like the 16 to 17 is like the year of practice. And then my first milestone was I don't want to be stuck somewhere full time. So let me just kind of like start small and just do like pop-ups and place my machine in places. So that's why at first it was like a day or two here at like Shockwave, or a day or two here at like Kids Day. So I did small matrices. And then when I felt confident in what I was doing and I understood, and I had my friend Casey helping me, then I went to the Alaska DBE conference. And that's when I met Javier. And I said, I think I'm ready to have a real location and try. And, you know, Javier was like, everybody always says that you're probably not going to come back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to come back. So he gave me a checklist of like 27 things to do. So then I worked on that for the next 6 months. And I was like, okay, 18 is going to be the year that I get my first real location and really, really launch. So I kind of used that matrix. It was just raise money, get a machine, practice and learn how to use a machine, get a couple tester locations, get a real location, stabilize. And so I did it like, I just took my time because I knew I didn't know what I was doing. So I just couldn't rush. Ooh.
Where would our viewers find more information?
Yeah, so if they go to babyvendunlimited.com, all of our information's there. We are actively in the process of updating our map because we have some new spots to put on there, but you can go there and find all the basic information, how to get in touch. We are also in the process of adding our click here and entering our introverse. So I think Sharita's already done that. So yeah, babyvendunlimited.com is our website, but we're also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter.
Excellent. Well, then we always like to finish the question, what can we as an entrepreneurial community do to support this entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean, you know, share, post, like, send somebody to the machine, connect us with other folks, buy an ad. If you have a machine like location where your business is. That's always helpful. But I think shares, likes, comments, reviews go far. You know, buy something at the machine. And I would say, just from a general entrepreneur standpoint, the idea may sound crazy sometimes, but like, you know, entrepreneurs, let's entertain each other, because you never know when the next, I don't know, big thing will come from with our ideas, what we want to accomplish. So listen to each other. Basic practices, I guess. Ooh, thank you.
And thank you everybody out there for joining and participating in another 1 Million Cups. This organization works because of you. Your participation. I'd like to take a second to give a big thank you to the Moser Co-working Space for giving us a place to hold this event every week here on Porcupine Street. I'd also like to give a big thank you to AK version 3 as our hosts and providing all of the support of this event. Thank you to Jasmine, our speaker this week. Again, I'd like to encourage all of you to follow us on social media, engage with this entrepreneurial community. 1 Million Cups is the front door to the Anchorage startup community, to the entire Alaska startup community. Take your place. Come and join us. Come see us next week. Think about who you know that needs to present here next week, after that, or the week after that. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. 1millioncups.com/Anchorage, Facebook.com /1 Million Cups ANC. Thank you very much. See you next week.